One of the first questions that I had about someone seeking office is if you've ever sought office before. Are there any other races that you've been in, any other positions that you've sought in the past?
I have never held public office before, but I have been a leader. I've been a Tea Party leader, and I'm a director for the Prosper Historical Society. So I have had experience on that side of things. I'm an activist for liberty and freedom. I stand for inalienable rights, and that has been the leadership role. I've never held office in an official capacity.
Okay. Now you mentioned are there commissions, boards, things like that that you sort of other things like that aren't necessarily elected positions?
Yes, like when I lived in Plano, I guess it was 2003, 2004. I was on a HOA architectural board, so things like that, but never just some clubs here and there, but nothing as serious until the two things happened. I moved to Prosper in December of 2006, and shortly thereafter, I was so grateful for moving to the wonderful town of Prosper because I grew up in Richardson, and I grew up with family values. I grew up in a safe and wonderful community that was all about outreach, your neighbors. You knew your neighbors, kids played out in the front yard. And when I moved to Plano, it was like going back in time in a very strange way, and I was so grateful for that. I thought, I have got to find a way to give back to this wonderful town of Prosper. And then that coincided with the emergence of the Tea Party. I attended a Tea Party rally July the 4th, 2009 out at South Fork Ranch. And I will never forget that day. I have always had an interest in politics and followed politics, but until that day, I thought, wow, there's really like-minded people out here. You know, I'd listen to Rush on the radio, or I'd see people on TV, but I didn't really, even though I lived in Plano from 2001 to 2006, I never, which is a very conservative town or city, I never really found my neighbors willing to discuss politics or step out in faith until the Tea Party movement. And from that day forward, I found a purpose. I founded like-minded people. My name ended up on it. Am I going on too long? Let me wrap this up real quick. I put my name on an email list, came home, went in on DallasTeaParty.org, was queued in to my zip code, 75078 in Prosper. Kelly Cooper, who's in the audience tonight, was the founder of the Prosper Tea Party. We met, became fast friends, partners and sisters in liberty, and we have led that group together and have never looked back and had a blast doing it. And really, our key was education and activism, getting out in the community and engaging your elected reps. I love talking about the Tea Party.
Well, one other thing that I was curious about is this particular election. I assume you've had the opportunity in the past to run for school board, town council, who knows what else. Why county commissioner? Why now?
That's an excellent question. I've been asked that before because I find the county position such a good fit for me. I follow transportation. I follow infrastructure. I follow property rights. Property rights are huge, people. Without our property rights, we're nothing more than serfs, and there is such an infringement and such an assault today on our property rights. Many people are not aware. I'm aware. I served on the Town of Prosper's Comprehensive Advisory Committee for 16 months, and that was for a committee in Prosper to come up with a plan for the Town of Prosper, a 5 to 6 outlook for the Town of Prosper. Until I served on that committee for the 16 months, I never knew there were so many outside entities just rubbing their little hands together, wanting to get a hold of your city, town, or county and dictate how you're going to grow.
And let me ask, are there of some of those issues that you've been concerned for in the past, any of those that you've gone to the Commissioner's Court regarding those issues in the past times you've gone there? I guess kind of the question behind that question is, your level of involvement or participation in the Commissioner's Court?
Well, I try to follow county goings on. I focus so much on Prosper, that keeps me really busy, but here's what I do. The best kept secret in the world, ladies and gentlemen, are those citizen comments. And if I learn something that I find alarming that I want to get out, I will go to the Commissioner's Court. I will get up during citizen comments for 3 minutes. That's usually all you need if you know your stuff, and to get it on the public record.
That's something you've done.
Yes, I have some. That is something I've done on several occasions, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not sure, but I have spoke on the public record. I believe in attending meetings and getting on the public record. I think that's very important.
Okay. I know there was one particular issue that came up before the court, which was for the county employees and
Yes.
the restructuring of their retirement.
That was a tough one. That was tough, and it was tough to follow, and it was very involved. And anybody that knows me, I'm an information junkie, and I vet, and I drive people crazy because I will not weigh in until I have all the information. And on that one, I had to just stay silent. I was confused. I understood the court is a great fiscal conservatives on that court. I understand that they thought that a change needed to be made, and were adamant in doing this because they thought that the county was at risk financially. But I did follow those. I did attend a couple of meetings, and when I would see the elected reps in the county, department heads, some of the county employees come up, there was confusion. They did not understand. These people, we're one of the fastest growing counties, not in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States. And so we have got to prepare for the future. Our elected officials in the county, they have to hire, they have to recruit, and we want good people. We are the jewel of North Texas. We are the best. We are an affluent county, a median income, $80,000 a year, and the average home price, and this is unbelievable to me, is north of $200,000. We are a very blessed county, and we want to keep Collin County #1, and it's because of the people of Collin County. It's because of the good county employees. It's because of all the wonderful elected officials. And I also attended Citizens Prosecutors Academy. I highly recommend this. It's a program you show up for. It was 8 to 12 weeks. You would go once a week, and they would present to you a different department and have people come and speak to you. And it was soup to nuts with the county. They covered all the different, the juries, the judges, even the coroner's office. That was a fascinating one. A child advocacy program. And it just gave me such a good overview, and the jail too, even a tour of the jail. And what I want to say about that, I came away with such a profound respect for the employees of Collin County. I was moved, and even called Sheriff Fox after the tour of the jail because it renewed my sense of humanity when I went and saw that jail. I saw how the deputies treat the inmates. There is such a level of respect, and I wasn't prepared for it. I've never toured a jail. I didn't know what to expect, but it was a marvelous experience, and I cannot say enough about the county employees, and that's what concerned me, the unrest that the pension thing caused. Now, I think it was, I think there
How do you feel about the plan that they want to do?
I still think there's questions because I think even the day of the vote, there were 2 commissioners that said that perhaps they needed more information, and I'm thinking, I'm watching this, I'm from the outside, so who am I? If they're still wanting information, I know my personality, I would want more information too. And so I have to say that. Now, I have talked to a commissioner in Grayson County. They thought this was very necessary, but up there they brought someone in to talk to the employees, someone in an objective opinion from the outside that could come and explain this and put some comfort and ease with the employees. But that was a tough one. That was a tough one, and but we'll know more going forward.
Yeah, it was, and it's for the folks that work for the county that have been through that, it's been a painful process, but when you look at some of our northern neighbors and the fiscal troubles that those cities and counties are going through.
Right, we cannot go the way. We cannot go the way of California. I understand that. I'm a fiscal conservative, but the devil's in the details, and sometimes there's you have to look at when people are vetted. Do they take money out, or do they get the full match? There's so many variables involved, and I just have to not weigh in on that.
Right, and a lot of that, I guess, individuals who own small businesses, run their own companies, things like that, have experiences with dealing with personnel issues, with benefit packages, things like that. Tell me about your work experience. Any particular past work experience that you think has been especially helpful in preparing you to be a county commissioner?
Well, I did work for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation from March of 1986 to October of 1994, and that was really interesting work. It was a crazy time when all the banks were failing, and I was in Addison at an office we were called the liquidation office. And we would, back then, a bank would buy a failing bank, and whatever that bank did not want in the way of assets, be that loans, furniture, fixtures, equipment, computers, pencils, cars, rolling stock, we would liquidate. And that was really interesting. I worked there for 9 years. It was really my first job out of college, and I learned so much, and I worked on both sides, personnel and credit. It was awesome.
And how about now, or anything more recent?
I currently work for Huntington Homes at Phillips Creek Ranch in new home sales, and I tell you, they say housing's a driver of the economy, and if that is indeed the case, we are on an uptick. I have people pouring into my model home from all different states, New York, Florida, Colorado, Chicago, and they come in here and they are looking for a great quality of life. They're looking for affordable homes, cost of living, which is so good here. Business climate is just booming, and people want to be here, and that they want a sense of community. You know, we hear so many times people from other states are pouring into Texas and bringing their liberal ideology. That's not what I find. I find that people are coming here wanting to get back to a sense, something that makes sense, and they're raising kids. I mean, most of our families have 3 and 4 children. It's really wonderful to see.
Yeah, with the demographic changes, the growth, a lot of issues that our county faces that other counties don't. Were you to be elected to the Commissioner's Court, is there a particular project, particular mission, something that you feel that if you're there, this is going to be your baby, this is what you're going to grab hold of and run with it?
I would have a huge mission if elected. You know what that is? To get in there, to work, to get in the trenches, meet my constituents, get to know each office of Collin County intimately, all the inner workings, because the court holds the purse strings. And how can you make appropriate decisions on where money goes unless you intimately know the workings of all the different departments? And so that would be quite a task, but I'm up to it. I'm a very hard worker, I'm diligent, I do my homework, and I love it. And I love meeting people, and I want to represent all the constituents of Precinct 1, because today, yes, I'm a lifelong Republican, and yes, we're a conservative county, but there is roads, bridges, so much infrastructure and things that we're going to need to compete and to progress. It doesn't necessarily matter if you have an R or D behind your name. We need to work on transportation. People have got to go to work. I'm very concerned. Transportation is really one of my top priorities. That and what Obamacare is going to do to us with health care. I'm very concerned with that too. And I want to applaud the court for 2 things, if I may, before. Am I almost done here?
You're almost done.
Okay, but real quickly, I want to applaud the court. They have held us being annexed into the Dallas Hospital District. That is huge. That is huge. And they've done a great job. That's not been easy. And they've also pushed back against the NTTA a little bit with the forming and crafting, which I thought was a brilliant and creative idea of the Collin County Toll Authority. And you know what? After they did that, NTTA started giving us a little attention, and I appreciate that.
I think somebody else must have had their 15-minute timer sit back there too. Well, I heard another chime going off in the background. Just one little quick question. With obviously 3 excellent candidates for this position, what about you would make someone say, that's who I want representing me on the Commissioner's Court?
You know
what would you say, I mean, if there's like that gem or that pearl or that one thing that distinguishes you from your competitors, what would you say would kind of move somebody in their heart and in the voting booth to say, she's the one?
My tenacity. I don't give up. I study, I research, I will come to a conclusion, I draw a line in the sand, and I stick by it. And I stand by my convictions, even if I stand alone. And I think people will come to know me, they will come to depend on me, and know that when I say something, I mean it. And I'm also very open-minded. I like to hear from people. I know what I think, but I don't know what all you out there think, and I want to know what you think. Because in order to represent properly, you have to know what's on the minds of your constituents.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.